Thank you for joining us. This is Anthony and Dena Marie, and you're listening to Our Energy Matters. Welcome.
And here we are with Our Energy Matters, and we are ready to talk to one another to find out how we are doing, and also to invite you into our lives so that we can talk to you about, basically about healing and about acknowledging and about living in the present moment. Each week, Dena, Marie, and I get together to converse. And it's through her book that I will show you right now. Our Energy Matters, The Art of Crystal Reading, Learn How to Manifest Your Heartfelt Intentions. It's through the book that we came together, and it was through my book that she interviewed me on her radio program, Lift Your Spirits. Loukas and the Game of Chance, a story for, I'd say maybe kids 8 to 12, right before middle school, maybe into middle school, about his struggle to come to grips with everything that he's lost. And Dena Marie and I talked, I looked it up today, it was on September the 22nd, 2020. That was our first pre-radio interview. And then several days later, September the 25th, 2020, Dena Marie brought me into her radio program, Lift Your Spirits. And it was so, truly, it was so enlivening to be able to talk to someone who was really listening and who had read the book. You know, and because I had been involved in other interviews, and you could tell right away that the book was, you know, not part of the process. But anyway, so we came together to understand that we had a lot to say to one another. And then she told me about her book, and so I thought, now how am I going to find this? Well, there it was, waiting for me at my threshold. And ever since, you know, I've been reading and writing. And today is our 16th episode on Zoom. So that means that I have 16 pieces of writing that someday maybe we'll bring it all together. You know, and Dena Marie, thank you.
Thank you so much. We just got off the phone. We have our once a week conversation. And today we want to talk about that throat chakra, because this is so important. It's not only the voice you and I have with each other, but the voice we have within ourselves and how we get information and what we do with it. So throat chakra. And it was because my voice told me to phone call you once a week for an hour. And I listened, and what came out of it has been nothing but pure joy.
Well, let me, yeah, because I lead you there. You know, I want you to talk about the throat, because all of a sudden, when I started reading about it and the blockages as well as the health, I thought, this is so powerful. So I say to you, hey there, folks, welcome and yassas. That's my Greek greeting to all my Greek friends out there. And yes, I lived in Greece for several years, but that's another tale to tell someday to anyone who's interested. Come follow me today. Ella, as they say in Greek. Come follow me today to a domain, a realm welcoming to all, whatever race, ethnicity, orientation of every type and blessing. Follow me to this domain, enlightened by a caretaker's, that's Dena Marie, inspired and inspiring wisdom, energized, fired up teachings, sanctified rituals, and there are so many of them. I'm realizing that so much is like going to church. Heartfelt stories and testimonials of loss, gain, redemption, empowered maxims, principled precepts to live by, and sustain life, love, directions. The domain I am entering with you folks was built and is now sanctioned and strengthened in Dena Marie's paragon of a book, Our Energy Matters, The Art of Crystal Reading, where soul, mind, heart seekers like me learn how to manifest their heartfelt intentions. It's a treasured gem of a book, illuminated with her clients' revelations, moral tales, stark, stuck confusion, acrid, bittered folks, disheartened by life's slings and arrows of disappointment. To startle bright crystals, Dena Marie attracts the seekers, mourners, bereft of a be here now life and living. Crystals she interprets for folks, her clients who choose sparkled stones, her crystals laid bare, their colors floating with light, the shapes and textures of their heart, mind, soul, body. Folks like me enter Dena Marie's book and are reincarnated by crystal pure color wakefulness and swat-faced by life energy centers. The 7 primary, and then I realized primordial chakras that receive, assimilate, and distribute energy, those are her words, through the body, vital and vitalizing auras, so vital indeed to sustaining life and living that Dena Marie warns us when one or more of the chakras become bogged down, overloaded, and damaged, your entire system will suffer. Listen up, folks. Lady Grace Dena Marie instructs us how to repair blocked and stifled chakras. Take the throat. Dena Marie, how do you know when the throat is blocked?
Throat chakra. Well, I'll tell a story of a young man. We were doing an event and the event was over and everyone was leaving. And I heard this, he whispered, I could barely hear him. I said, excuse me. He goes, would you read my chakras? And I said, sure. So the kid had headset on, hat, beard, tattooed, and he whispered the whole time. And as we worked through his chakras, because we became friends, people didn't recognize him anymore. He took the headset off. He took the hat. Pretty soon he shaved. Now he's an amazing father. He speaks up for himself. But that's the first thing is when people, remember Dena Marie doesn't talk in class. Can you believe it? That's what all my report cards say. Dena doesn't talk in class. Mm-hmm. And it's because I was raised in a home with no communication, shut doors, no dinner time. No one checked in on each other before bed or when you woke up. It was just super quiet. And I'm a triple Gemini this time. So I came here to express myself. And by learning the chakras, I realized I was talking to myself too much in my head. So it wasn't like I was quiet. I was having conversations with myself all day. And most of them were really bad. I'm too fat. I'm too ugly. I can't do this. Don't even try. So I was talking, but not through here. And that was constant chatter, over analyzing. And so when I started learning hypnotherapy, I got to take people back into their childhood and they had the same thing. And usually they had thyroid issues, smoked too much, overate. So that's a real good way, oral fixations, is to keep your throat blocked, right? Keep it shut, or just thinking too much in your head. So I started taking people karaoke. I started having people write letters and burn them. I started also, sitting next to someone that they'll say, Dena, can I tell you something I've never told anybody? That happened pretty much every session. And as they opened up their throat chakra and I listened with my heart, right, fully engaged, people learned to express themselves in a healthy way. And that's why I came up with the chakra prescriptions. And some of them are, one of the most famous ones is just writing a letter to someone you can't talk to, or maybe someone who's hurt you in the past, and burn it.
Well, yeah. And I think that what your explanation for that was brilliant, and it is where we shut down, the shutting down of the throat in a way, is what you're talking about. And I say to people who are watching us today, that scattered throughout your book are wondrous and practical, doable, accessible healing prescriptions. I want to say that because sometimes when you hear the word chakra, as I did at the beginning, and you hear some of the other, I hate to say it, but techniques that you use to help people heal, it sounds a little bit abstract, it sounds a little bit distant, but those 2 pages where the prescriptions are laid out for when we suffer, from chakra deficiencies. And so I say to our listeners, tune in, because I want to continue doing this in sessions beyond, because that idea of, so I say to you today, that idea of, well, what is a healthy throat chakra?
Well, and I think I just remembered too, that if you're a child and you have an idea and you tell it to someone, that's the brow chakra and your throat chakra. And then you have someone tell you that's a dumb idea. So then you keep it in your head. You quit talking. What if you're someone who cries a lot and you have an emotion? Like females aren't even supposed to cry anymore, let alone men back, 40 years ago. But what if you felt like crying or expressing how you felt? So that's your throat chakra and your heart chakra. So there's also connections that goes on too. So it's one of those things like the Reiki, you're in a group of people and you can just be yourself open-heartedly. That helps. But I think society right now, we're even afraid to speak up with things that we know are true. We keep our mouths shut. We bite our tongue, right? And I remember saying that as a kid. I don't say it. Bite your tongue. Don't say it. Don't say it. And even if I knew the answer, don't say it. So somewhere we've been taught to be silenced. And I believe in past lives. And in past lives, there's multiple places on this earth where you were tortured if you spoke up. Even Jesus had a hard problem with that, right? But he did it anyways, and he expressed himself, and look where it got him. So having that whole example of the kid who always gets all the attention because he's the bully, and then you're the one quiet because you don't want to be like him or anything. But the most important thing right now is to find an art, a creative art, anything that you can do to express yourself. So that's why our writing, singing, dancing, creating, and it's the first thing I do. You'll see on my show how many musicians I have that were kids that I totally said, I'm going to drive you to dance class. I'm going to drive you to cooking class. I'm going to take you and start a music festival just so they could get up and express themselves. And those kids are thriving. So being heard by someone, and hopefully it's your family, but that's not the case for me. So I went and divorced a lot of people in my life. And now I'm only around people I can express myself to, you being one of them. And isn't it feel good in your heart to be able, not only to be able to talk, but to be heard?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, yes, without a doubt. And the idea that someone is actually listening, as I said when I introduced you, to come to first of all, to have you interview me before the interview, and open up, and then to watch you, and I often say that you stand during your show, Lift Your Spirits, you stand and you move a lot. And I thought, and that's what we connected also there, because here I was telling you that all of my life, I wanted to be a dancer when I was growing up. And I faced a lot of blockage there because my father, he was a very fine man. I'm not putting him down, but he was very much into training sports people, boxers. And I felt that to go to him and say, I want to be a dancer, it was like saying, I want to be a fairy tale, and so I kept it hidden. So I would go and stand in the alleyway when I could hear the dancers up. When I would go into the center of town, I could hear the dancers on the second floor of this place where they're tapping and they're moving, and I'm in the alleyway doing some of that. I could have been arrested, but I needed to to find my way. But so the idea of dancing to me is also, I don't know if it's throat chakra, but it also is another way of opening the way, to revealing yourself and feeling good.
It's creativity. And the best dances are the ones you create, the ones that you do. Instead of taking a dance lesson, you make up a dance. And this is funny that I just came to this realization, is I told my mom I wanted to be a dancer. And she said, absolutely not, you're too short. And at that time, I listened to her and I started to hate my legs. Isn't that crazy? Because they were too short. And then I became an aerobic instructor for 13 years, created dances, had 30 to 40 women moving and dancing with me. And eventually I told you last time, I just went dancing by myself, and didn't care, but I created, and that was the finest years of my life, was dancing to music I loved and getting everyone else to dance with me. So, bless our hearts.
Yes, bless our hearts for coming to the recognition of what we need in order to survive, or more than survive, but to connect with ourselves spiritually.
To
You know,
thrive, to thrive.
yeah,
And you did go on to dance, and now that's your power chakra. So if you take your throat and your solar plexus, which is below your heart, and that's where you're afraid and you do it anyways, like you dancing in the alleyway, or me getting up in front of people and trying to dance. It took me a year to figure out how to do it, you know, but in the end, it was funny. It's in my book actually, that I had a voice told me to go to this aerobic club that I've always wanted to work at, but I was so afraid. But the dream the night before told me to walk in. So I did, and everyone got fired. And so when she interviewed me, she goes, "You're hired. You're not very good, but I will teach you."
that's great.
So you see, my intuition told me, my power chakra said to walk through the door. I asked by using my throat chakra, and then I got paid to dance.
That's wonderful. No, I mean, I just love that, because I told you that I was in, my first academic job was at the University of Maine in a small town called Farmington. And I would drive 2 hours to go to Portland every week, knowing that I had the courage to walk up those steps up to the second floor and take that dance class, you know, and everybody was a lot younger than I. They were much more nimble, you know, and I just thought, Jack be nimble, Jack be quick, Jack jump over the candlestick. And you know, and she you know, she would look at me, and I know that, you know, I was a little rigid and I was trying to move. And then finally she said to me, "Look, I'm going to start a company, and we're going to be showing some of what I do as demonstrations. Would you like to join it?" And I thought, "Oh, come on, I'm going to faint. You want me to move?" And you're, you know, and I just felt, boy, I have arrived, you know. And it wasn't that I was going to become a professional dancer. It was too late for that. But boy, could I connect, you know.
And you felt alive. You felt alive. And if you came here and you did what everybody else wanted you to do so you could please them, this is when this gets blocked, right? So being authentic, being yourself, doing the things that bring you joy, and then you attract more of that into your life. But again, the old Dena was always doing what everyone else wanted, and I was sick all the time. Asthma, sore throats. I was sick. I can't tell you how much sickness until I don't know, well, this whole thing, we won't go there, but I just don't get sick with that sore throat thing anymore, because I don't hang around people I can't talk to.
I love it. And that's what I love about the doable, accessible prescriptions that you provide us, you know. And I just think it's so important. I'm always made alert by Dena Marie's heart healing promise when she says, "Clear up your chakras, and your every wish is our universe's command." So, you know, we're coming to an end. And I say to people, if you want to move closer to Dena Marie's wisdom, then listen to her weekly radio show, Lift Your Spirits. I have to listen to it more often, by the way. You keep reminding me, and I keep forgetting. It's on 11:50 a.m. KKNW. You can also go to her website and you'll find what she does. The Labyrinth. Tell them, oh, the Labyrinth. You have to, I just think, can I come out there and please, you know?
Well, I got to tell you, last week I went to a pumpkin festival for my granddaughter who's 5, who got to dance on stage, which is kind of ironic. And we found a labyrinth in the park that no one was at. So my grandson and granddaughter walked the labyrinth with me last Saturday.
It's so healing.
But anyway,
your website is Dena-Marie, lowercase everything.com. My website for an interview with Dena Marie is www.anthonymannabooks.com. And if you go there, go to the media section and you look for Podbean podcasts. I interviewed quite a few important people in my life over the years. And also my website is like for any parent and kid who wants to know a little bit about Loukas and the Game of Chance and other books that will startle you into waking up to reality. Children's books, teenage books, poetry, etc. A lot of it's there. So join us. Anyway, there we are, Dena Marie.
Thank you. Well, thank you for joining us. Our Energy Matters with Anthony Manna and Dena Marie, and we'll see you next time. Bye,
Next
Anthony.
time, everyone. Thank you so much for stopping by. Bye-bye.